What's better, dorms or apartments? That's one of the biggest questions that first-year university students have when they're thinking about where to live in their first year. I also had the exact same question, and throughout my 4 years of being at U of T, I had a chance to stay at both apartments and dorms. So in this video, based on my personal experience, I'm gonna be comparing both pros and cons of staying in an apartment and staying in a dorm. Now, please note that this is just my personal opinion on apartments and dorms, so please take this video as a grain of salt. Now, with that being said, let's compare whether you should stay at a dorm or an apartment in your first year. So to start this list, we're gonna talk about some of the pros of staying in a dorm. First and foremost, when you stay at a dorm, you'll have an easier time making friends and have better social life. This is because majority of students choose to stay at a dorm in their first year, and because of that, your dorms will probably be filled with other first year students who are looking to make new friends. So during your first couple weeks of school, you'll be able to get to know some of those students who are on the same floor or building as you. So having this foundational friend group will obviously boost your social life, as you'll have some friends to talk to when you're going to classes or when you go eat at the cafeteria. I think this is one of the biggest reasons why students choose to stay at a dorm in their first year, because I also found it easier to make friends and have better social life by staying in a dorm in my first year. Now, the second reason why someone would stay at a dorm in their first year is because it's so close to your school. This means that you'll have a much easier time attending lectures, tutorials, or any school events than someone who's staying off campus. Again, this kind of ties into my previous point about having a better social life when you stay at a dorm, because being close to the school means that you can go see your friends or even professors or TAs much more often than students who are living off campus. Now, last but not least, when you stay at a dorm, you don't waste any time commuting or cooking food. This is because a lot of the times, the dorms that you're staying in will require you to pay for the meal plans that they have, and by opting into this program, you won't have to worry about getting your groceries or cooking when you get back from school. I personally found meal plans to be really helpful because I don't really enjoy cooking, so if you're like me, I think it's definitely worth considering this option as well. Now, before we move on to some of the cons of staying at a dorm, here's a quick message from the sponsor of today's video. So, today's video is sponsored by Brilliant.org, an online learning platform that provides the best way to learn math, science, and computer science interactively. Brilliant has thousands of lessons with new ones added every month, and these lessons include foundational and advanced math to AI, data science, neural networks, and more. Now, for me, I joined Brilliant because I wanted to spend my reading week doing something productive. So, I went on and tried their computer science and data science lesson. And I'll be honest, in the beginning, I was also skeptical on how helpful an online course could be, but when I finally tried it out myself, I fell in love with it immediately. As you can see, Brilliant offers thousands of interactive and fun classes that anyone can enjoy, whether you're a full-time or part-time student, or even an employee. And that's the beauty of Brilliant. You can choose when and where you want to study based on your schedule, so anyone can learn on Brilliant. So I'm happy to announce that you can try everything that Brilliant has to offer for full 30 days for free when you visit brilliant.org/RichardHan or click the link in my description. Also, the first 200 of you guys to use this link will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription, so make sure to sign up today to begin your Brilliant journey. Thank you again to Brilliant for sponsoring this video, and let's get right back into the video again. Now, the first disadvantage of staying in a dorm is that it's more expensive than apartments. This may not be clear in the beginning because the rents in Toronto are super high, but once you take into the fact that a lot of the students who live in an apartment split their rent with some of their roommates, living in an apartment actually becomes cheaper than living in a dorm. So if you're worried about some of your financial constraints, living in an apartment with a couple roommates might be a better option for you. Now, the second disadvantage of living in a dorm is that the quality of your home will generally be worse than the quality of an apartment. This is because a lot of university dorms are older than most apartments in Toronto, so a lot of the amenities that you'll find in your dorm will generally be worse than what you find at an apartment. So if you're someone who cares about high quality rooms and amenities, you might want to reconsider your decision of wanting to stay at a dorm. Last but not least, you'll have limited privacy and other inconveniences when you stay at a dorm. This is because for from my experience of staying in a dorm, I had to share a gender-neutral washroom with 20 to 30 other people on my floor, and as you can imagine, that wasn't the most convenient thing ever. Other than that, you'll also have to follow some of the rules that they have at the dorm, such as no partying or drinking at certain times, and not being able to invite so many people into your dorm at once. So if you're thinking of staying in a dorm in your first year, please consider all these pros and cons of staying in a dorm and choose wisely based on your preferences. Now, the pros and cons of staying in an apartment are pretty much the inverse of what I said about the dorm, so I'll just quickly list both pros and cons without explaining them again. So the pros of living in an apartment is that it's cheaper, you'll have a higher quality room, and you'll have more freedom. And the disadvantages are the fact that you have to commute and it's harder to get involved in school activities. So if you're wondering whether to stay at a dorm or apartment in your first year, please make your decision based on your preferences and what's more important to you, and please don't make your decision based on what everyone else is doing. Everyone has different needs and preferences, so please consider all the pros and cons that I mentioned in this video when you're making your decision. Now, I hope you guys found this video to be helpful. Thank you again to you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I just want the feeling.